As growing up in school, I just always felt like I was different. I remember sitting by myself in school and just I used that time to develop and just think of myself. I literally remember that I was like, I'm gonna sit over here, and if no one joins me, that's okay. But you look at, oh, you're a loner, you're this, you're that, no one wants to talk to you. But it's like, no, I'm very happy with my own self. Obviously, when things kind of picked up in high school and I blew up, everyone wanted to be my friend there.
Everyone. Tell that story.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, going into high school, I went to a new school. I grew up over there in Carmichael by Rio Americano, Jesuit area, and my family didn't have a lot of money compared to these kids that were growing up in these nice big homes. I was the new guy, but I felt like I was still different. I stood out in that. Like junior year came around. I didn't have a prom date. Like there was no girls that wanted to talk to me. There were some girls that, I tried talking to, but they were like, oh, my friend doesn't like you. I'm like, who's your friend? Oh, how do they not like me? They don't know me. They're like, oh, well, based on what they heard. I'm like, well, what do they hear? Like,
right.
But when prom opened up, it was like, obviously I took Kylie Jenner to prom and that just like blew up everything. And then everyone wanted to be my friend. Like girls wanted to see me and date me. Guys wanted to invite me to parties and all this. I didn't go. I didn't party. I didn't want to party. I didn't want to do drugs. I didn't want to do any of that.
So did you accept that new attention, or was it more like, hey, where were you?
I definitely accepted that new attention. But the thing,
nice.
I accepted it. But it was more like everyone thought I changed because I wouldn't hang out with them. Everyone changed because I unfollowed everyone that I didn't want to. That you weren't any benefit. It was nothing. Like you weren't my friend before. Why do I need to be your friend now? So everyone was like, "Oh, you're cocky. You're this." It was it was really like that the whole time. And I was like, "No, I'm still me."
How did that impact your life to go to prom with Kylie Jenner? Did your social media blow up overnight? Like, did you get managers come up to you and say, "Hey, we need to capitalize on this opportunity"?
Yeah.
Like, what did that do?
That night I gained, I think, like to 10,000 followers just by not posting anything, and it was just word of mouth and people talking about me. And then I remember I couldn't post anything for like 3 or 4 months because of it was for a TV show too, so it was filmed for her. So obviously with the contracts and stuff, and you couldn't announce anything because everything was for the TV show. So like 3 months I couldn't post anything. I didn't talk about it. No interviews, nothing. And then they said, okay, this day. So it was like total 6 months later. And I remember people like, even like reporters like here in Sacramento, like, oh, the flame is going to die down if you don't talk about it now. Because everyone wanted me to like talk about it, the story, because I didn't talk about it. And I was like, no, I can't talk about it right now due to this.
And you never did?
No, well, I eventually did. So then
when you were allowed to, though.
Yeah. So
integrity, man.
That's and then I was like, because at first I was like, dang, I think it might die down. But then they were like, no, just trust me. The guy, it was the manager from LA. And he was like, dude, just trust me. It's going to come back. Everything's going to come back. And then the show was supposed to come out like 6 months later. And then it didn't. So all the promo that was there, like it actually benefited me because everyone was like expecting a show on this day. And then it got pushed back another like 4 months. So I was like, oh, now the promo came back even again, and my name was still going, like talking about it, and it stopped and it came back. So when the show came on, I was gaining like thousands and 10,000 for 10,000, like in literally like minutes. Just refresh on another 5,000.
That's crazy. That must have been a rush.
It was crazy. Like it was definitely a rush. And everyone thinks it's like super like great having all these like followers and millions of people seeing your stuff, and it is cool. Don't get me wrong. It is a cool rush. But like I was 17, like I didn't know, my phone died because it froze throughout the many followers, the notifications. Wow. No one trained me to like how to prepare for it. But I think me being by myself in high school and growing up and developing my mentality is what prepared me for that. And it's crazy. I remember at 17, I saw an entrepreneur. His name's Jet Set Fly. I remember, and he was talking about just like the being different. And I remember that I was like, dang, it would be cool to make money online somehow. I remember saying that. I don't know what I'm gonna do or sell or just have a public eye. This was before the show. And I was 17. No, I was 16 at the time. And I was like, okay, well, and then I went on with my normal teenage life, right? And then at 17, a year later, that's when my social media blew up. People started talking about me. I was making some kind of money. I mean, a little bit of money on ads and stuff, but it happened. Like, I was like, dang, I spoke that into existence. I was like, that worked.
So did you know that there was something like law of attraction? Were you aware of any of that? Or did you just like stumble into it, kind of like Jim Carrey, where he prayed for a bike and then somebody put him in a raffle and someone brought a bike? Was it like that?
You're just not at first, but then when I started to see all these things that were happening to me in a positive way, I was like, there's something something to be in this world that is like this. And it was all obviously law of attraction, manifesting, speaking things into existence, God, obviously. But it's very true. If you see yourself somewhere and you talk about it and you work for it, it'll happen. I really believe it. Like a few years ago, I have a video. This is when, before boxing, everything. I'm big fans of Corvette. I like Corvettes. Okay. I like the older ones. I like the 90s, the 80s ones are nice. But I remember I saw a Corvette and it was a black one. I was like, one day I'm gonna get that car. And I'm like, I had like no money at the time, I'm fat, after the show. And then like 2 years later, I got one. I got one, even a better one. It was like fully remodeled, and it was 2 years newer. It was like a '01, but everything was new. The Lamborghini doors. And I was like, dang, I really got the car I wanted. And I have the video, and I posted it. I was like, dang, it really works.
Oh yeah, and we were talking about out there. I think people miss a few parts of how it works. You got to think of what you want, be real specific. Speak it, which is very hard to come out and say, I want to be a famous boxer. I want to fight this dude. And people are like, oh, okay. Well,
no, it was hard.
And then when you see that path, when that door opens, you have to walk through it. And that's a lot of hard work. And every time I text you, heading to a workout, just left a workout. So tell me a little bit about how hard you work. And
like, even with boxing, I mean, I knew how to be disciplined. I knew going into it, like that was one thing you had to do. Like just knew it because I was a disciplined athlete my whole life. But just now, it's like people say I'm not a real fighter, or I don't take it serious. I'm like, dude, like I got big publicists talking about me, ABC, TMZ, Fox, and then even when I went to Vegas, I was like, I want to get Fox. The main guy's name's John Huck. He's a friend of mine now. He's signed like a 10 or 15-year deal with Fox. He's a big famous reporter out there. And somehow he is my friend now. And he wrote about me. I got to Fox talk about me in Vegas. Big article if you see it. And I was like, dang, it happened. And I feel like I get a lot of hate because like some people haven't did that in their whole career and they've done it their whole lives. But it's like, it's not my fault that I've put the pieces together, and then I'm very humble at the same time. And I'm very like, I just go get it. And if it doesn't work and if I fail, then okay, there's another way to do it. And there's a lot of bumps in the road. I've had multiple coaches obviously switch up on me. I've had gyms here in Sacramento kick me out of their gyms just because their insecurities. And I'm in Vegas. I'm away from my family, away from my norm. I mean, people are knowing me out there now, which is good. But it's hard to make a name in Vegas. It's the mecca of boxing, entertainment, sports. Besides LA, it's Vegas.
For sure.
So for me to be there and those guys can see me, like no one can do that in Sacramento. No one can just leave Sacramento where they blew up or where they're starting to go to Vegas. No one can do that. No one can do that by themselves and that didn't grow up in the sport. Please tell me one person. Please tell me. But
acting how you do on the way. Like I said, treating people kindly, giving back, being humble, understanding that integrity is important, because those are two missing ingredients too. Like for law of attraction and all that to work.
Exactly.
You're not going to be propped up by God and the universe if you're going to be a dick to people and if you're going to hoard everything. And if you're gonna,
goosebumps you saying that.
It's a missing ingredient. People don't understand. Like if you live without integrity, you're not getting away with that.
Exactly.
You might actually be getting away with it. But it's sticking with you.
Exactly.
It's holding you back.
And my last team, they did me dirty a lot. They bashed my name on the internet. They banned me from the gym in Vegas too. And it sucked. It hurt me. These last 6 months have been a big roller coaster. My birthday's New Year's. So I won my fight in December. Then my birthday, I'm like, oh, this is about to be a great year. I'm with a great team. And then I had Fox writing about me. Everything was flowing really well. And then, the team switched up on me. I was like, what the, you guys are supposed to help me and I look up to you. How are you bashing me now and banning me from the gym? And you guys are supposed to be my team and my managers. And it sucked. But, even my friend and my strength coach at the same time, he's like, dude, you didn't bash them. You didn't respond to them. You ignored it. You kept going. You stayed positive. And then now I have a new team. I love my new team. I'm with a great team, actually, a world-class team. And it prepared me. That moment, that negativity brought me new people in my life that are actually the real ones. And everyone that switched up on me, God brought me new people in my life to help me get a certain way, and then they're really close to me.
Do you feel like all of the way you were born with that level head and seeking knowledge and all that was preparing you for the explosive overnight fame, some sort of fate thing?
No, it did prepare me. Like me sitting by myself at lunch, like that prepared me. That was a moment that prepared me for that prom stuff, and like everything prepared me. And I remember too, like so many good things, like crazy things were happening because I was on the basketball team, and Lonzo Ball, I don't know if you're familiar. Well, he's a basketball NBA player now. Okay. But he went to UCLA, and they were blowing up at the time in 2017. And everyone knows this team and that player because he was really famous in college. And I remember he was coming to, because Sacramento held the Golden One, the college March Madness. Okay. So I was like, and then the coach was, and my teacher was like, hey, a school's going to come here. UCLA's going to come here. I was like, oh, it's not. I'm a big fan of UCLA and Lonzo Ball. And then they were like, but hey, there's gonna be security around the gym. No one's gonna be involved here. You cannot be here. Like it was crazy. The security, they blocked out the door so no one could see because it was college. It was March Madness.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna figure out a way to get in this gym to watch this team play. And believe it or not, the next day they're all there. And then the teacher was like, hey, Albert, come with me. I was like, okay. They're like, pick up these towels and waters. I was like, okay, I'll help you. No worries. Because I've always helped her with anything. And I was like, where are we going? She's like, we're going to the gym. I was like, oh, back in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go watch the team. And it happened like that.
Dang.
And I remember too, I posted it and I was like, I'm going to post this. So everyone was adding me like, who's in the gym? And they're like, Albert's in the gym. So everyone from juniors, seniors, freshmen was like, hey, help me, please get in. I don't even know you. And then that was my senior year of that. And then the prom stuff. And then that even blew. And then more people want. So it kind of just levels of it. And then now going into boxing, all these people that hate on me, I'm like, dude, I've been hating on since I was 17.
Dang.
So everything has prepared me, all these situations.
Dude, that's awesome, man. So
and it's crazy.
The negative comments and all that stuff, like, how do you deal with that? When you're cruising, you're having a great day, and you're like, man, this post is blowing up, and one stupid jerk who says something bad, like, how do you protect your mind from that? How do you react to that?
I think now, I mean, I just laugh at it. I think what hurts me more is the people like that I trusted, the people that I trust, that you were in my house, you met my family, and you have the nerve to say this about me. Like what? Like, and it's not my fault. It's based on your insecurities and what you were trying to get out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the bad guy. So I think that's what hurts me more when people are close to me. Like the internet stuff, I mean, I've been made fun of, laughed at, posted. I mean, it doesn't affect me at this point in my life.
Wow.
I mean, God, I feel like God works in mysterious ways, and he does. And obviously a lot of traction and hard work and everything. Everything plays a part.
Do you know what a synchronicity is? Like it's basically a strong coincidence that kind of points you in a direction or answers a question. So do you pray?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you how do you hear back? Like, say you pray for guidance or whatever. What does that look like to you when you're like, okay, that was an answered prayer?
I think like recently too, I called my buddy, and he's a pastor too. And I was like, dude, I have no team. I haven't trained. I was in a bad sad a little bit. I'm not in the gym. I'm not doing something I love because these guys switched up on me. So I had no team. And then I just called him. I told him, like, dude, I need help. Like, please help me. And then guidance. But I think it's just the challenges. Someone will give you a challenge or a situation. God will give you it. And then that's your time to execute and do it. And then now you brought you. And I remember, so my new team now, Salas Boxing Academy, there's a Cuban team in Vegas. And Cubans, they're great in fighting. World class. They have multiple champions. They're like 20 world champions that he's made there. But that brought, like, I remember I went there once and I was like, I was nervous a little bit. I'm in a new gym now. And then I was like, I'm going to stop going. Then I stopped working out for a little bit. And then I remember I was like, hey, it opened up again. Someone was like, hey, I think you should just come and stick with it. Then one of the trainers there was like, okay, yeah, I think you can get better. You just have to keep coming. And then slowly but surely now, like, I'm enjoying myself there. And it was that one time where I didn't want to go, but I had to just go. I was contemplating moving back here to be in my comfortable place and have my old trainers here. But I was like, I don't think that's for me right now. I need to be out there. I need to be uncomfortable to learn.
Have you had people come along the way and help you, like mentors and?
In Vegas or in general?
Just in general, like the right person shows up at the right time and gives you the right amount of exposure. And
I think so, yeah. Just through time, like Patrick, the one I was saying that knows everything, like from the world and how it heals you and the sun, like just that's really awake. Patrick came into my life about 1.5 years ago, and we met at his gym. And my buddy at the time, he was like, hey, let's go to this new gym. I was like, okay. And then Patrick, he's like, I think that's the owner over there. He was wearing like a suit. He never wears a suit because he's a big old meathead. He knows that. So I go to the gym, I finish my workout, and I tell him on the show, like, hey, is this your gym? Like, I just want to introduce myself. He's like, oh, like, nice to meet you. I'm Albert Ochoa. And he kind of knew who I was, but didn't know. And he never goes to his gym. He's there probably once a month now. But that day I went, it shifted. It was like crazy. Like, and he introduced me to a lot of being with the world and awake and stuff. And from there, I mean, it was just crazy. And like, he gives me the advice, from one thing, it just, like, he gives me a lot of the advice now. And then, so I would say he's like kind of a mentor too, but he's more of a friend too now. And then like Peter, the owner of the restaurants, that's very big in the Asian community. introduced me to a lot of people. He gives me a lot of advice. He's like, keep going. You're doing better than me at 24. I'm like, dude, I feel like I'm behind though.
No,
But
no, you're not.
I feel like I am still, you know,
Maybe that's a
like,
good chip to keep, right?
Yeah.
Keep you grinding like that. I'm curious about this. So like, it's also fighting. How do you manage that mentally? Like, do you ever experience fear? Do you have to suppress that?
Yeah,
Like leading up to a fight and everybody's going to watch. I mean, what does that feel like?
I mean, I do get nervous still. But I just think because you have 8 to 10 weeks is a traditional professional camp, you know, 8 weeks is what you need.
Okay.
You know, 10 weeks if you want to get a little bit of work in before, you know, but for me, like, you get 10 weeks to be in the best shape of your life, you know? So that's no alcohol, no, you know, no sex. I mean, there's a lot of things, you know, but I'm just saying that, but like, I don't drink at all, but I'm just saying in general, you have 10 weeks to be in the best shape of your life. So I'm like, okay, if I do that, and then you're gonna be strong into it. So if I do all this process, if I'm doing all my work two a days, Monday through Friday, and I work out on Saturday, and you're eating right, you're losing weight, but you're in the gym all the time, like for 10 weeks, like, and then you're in Vegas away from it. I don't think my opponent's doing that. I don't think they're doing that. So me doing that in 10 weeks, I get in the best shape of my life in 10 weeks. I can do it in 8 weeks. I'm in the best shape of my life right now. I'm not even in a fight.
Huh.
It's crazy. Like,
I know. Every time I talk to you, you're training.
Yeah. And it's hard. I flew home. I flew back for 3 days. And then, you know, I've been in the gym, like majority, then home. A lot of people don't do that. Like, I mean, look at Floyd Mayweather. People say he's cocky and all that. But like he's the most famous boxer besides Mike Tyson.
And the most accomplished, right?
Most accomplished.
50-0 or something?
Yeah. And he's done that without boxing too. So, I mean, he did things different. He worked hard to get there, but he changed everything. You know, most boxers didn't want to do that. There's boxers that just want to train, like, or just in jobs in general. You'll just do your job and then go home and sleep. No, you have to do your job and then do even more. You have to go meet those person. You have to go do more and learn and develop. And that's what I've done. I still develop my mentality. I'm still developing. Like, I didn't want to go to the gym. And then after the gym, I just want to go home. But no, I you know, you can turn on a podcast, you can learn, you can call a mentor, call someone, you know, learn about yourself, learn about the law of attraction, or just like talk to God.
What about rest? Do you ever take like time, at least a day or something?
No, most definitely. Yeah. Like this week was just 7 days a week because I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that happened.
You got a motor, man.
Yeah, it was crazy. But no, typically it's Monday through Friday. Saturday, just an occasional run, maybe some push-ups. And then Sunday, it's the day off. That's typically, or Monday through Friday.
That's healthy, man. That's healthy.
But this week, it was just, I don't know what it was. I was in the gym 7 days this week. And 6 of those days were 2 days. So.
That's so crazy. And you don't even necessarily have a fight planned right now. There's talks of it and stuff,
talks
and you're
of
just still pushing this hard.
Yeah, no, I am. Because I feel like the competition is getting harder. There's a big fight at the end of the year that I do want to do, and it's on DAZN. Do you follow boxing a little bit? Or
a little bit, yeah.
Are you familiar with DAZN?
No.
DAZN, where Canelo fights, right? Like DAZN is the biggest boxing network there is.
Okay.
It's like $60 a month, but it's the biggest boxing world. Like, so if you're at a boxing, that's where you go to watch fights.
Oh, okay.
So I remember like 3 years ago, I'm like, I want to fight on DAZN. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I don't know what promoter or how I'm gonna do it, but I know I have to get better to be on that once I make it to that stage. Now I have the promoter. They've been offering me fights for the past year, but it doesn't make sense, and I knew it wasn't the right time.
So specifics on that mindset when you're like, I'm gonna fight on DAZN. Did you tell yourself like immediately, I'm fighting on DAZN, and then you adopted that mindset and trained like that? So you just owned it immediately. It wasn't just like it's something I want to do someday. You're like, no, this is happening.
I was like, I want to fight on DAZN. Like, it's great. I get goosebumps. I was like, I tell myself, I want to fight on DAZN. That's the biggest boxing network there is. No one in Sacramento has ever fought in DAZN. And that's where you need to be. You know, the biggest boxing. You know, so and then now I have the promoter. They're looking at a fight in Dubai in November, and I told him, I was like, yeah, I want to take it. I'm ready. He offered me multiple fights. I want to take that next step, and it's gonna be a tough fight, but I feel like I'm gonna be ready. I feel like I'm ready now. I know the guy. He's a little bit bigger. He trains out there in Vegas as well with the money team with Floyd and all that. Good person. I mean, we know of each other. I never met him, but. That's a big fight, and it's gonna happen at the end of the year on DAZN. So I remember I telling myself, okay, you know, I want people to pay attention. I want TMZ to write about me. That was just so simple, but then it happened 2 years later.
That's so crazy, dude. It makes me want to sit down and think about what very specific goals that I want, and then just own them.
That's where it starts.
Yeah. Do you think you were born with this ambition, or do you think it developed?
I think so. I mean, I'm a big believer in like numerology too, and astrology, and like I was born on 1/1. I mean, if you have the number 1, you're meant to be a leader. And then I was born on New Year's on 2000. So I mean, I really believe that.
Is numerology? Is that also like people will see 333 on the clock, and then they'll see
it's like numerology and astrology. Yeah, it's all like cohesive, and I feel like the elite people, like the high art people, that's how they run the world.
Oh yeah,
it's very true. And people don't know that. When you see 3 that's a sign, like guidance and different, and see that. You see 444, or I see a lot of 4s. Yeah, I always see 444 more. And it just pops up.
And when you see a number that's repeating or whatever, should someone like look that up and be open to seeing, hey, what is this saying? Yeah,
I think so, because
this stuff is really going on. The quantum realm and the energies and the ether, the aura, and all the stuff.
Literally.
Now they're starting to measure it with science. And like I said, it's all new to me.
Yeah.
And then there's people like you that have been using these techniques for quite some time. And I think it's
it's
great,
crazy. It really is crazy. And I feel like the people, like just my mentors, like the 2 people, like, because I don't have anyone my age that I hang out with. It's crazy. Even the women I dated, I've never dated anyone my age or younger. I was always older. So and it's crazy. They think very like, they're like, dude, like you're thinking way like me and you're not even my age. I'm like, well, yeah, it's crazy. Like my buddy's he's 36 and Peter's 34. So those are my 2 good friends, and they're both very successful entrepreneurs. It's crazy, from everything, like school and being by yourself.
Yeah.
Like I encourage people to be by yourself. I encourage
it's
that.
hard.
Yeah.
If you like put away the phone, put away the movie.
Yeah.
Nobody else around, go drive somewhere,
But people,
try an hour.
Yeah, and a lot of people aren't happy with themselves. They can't be alone. They need to be around people because of the attention and everything. But it's like, no, be by yourself.
The distraction.
Yeah, no, be by yourself and you'll grow. I really believe you be by yourself, you'll grow. That's the first thing I would say. Like, people are around all these people, you know, and there's people that you're around that will drain you. They're called like vampire suckers. They'll drain you from your energy. You ever be around someone and they'll drain you?
Yeah.
I've been around a lot. I'm like, damn, dude, I'm drained. We didn't do nothing, but you're a negative person and you talked about negative stuff the whole time. That drains people.
It does.
But some people don't think like that, and they're around so many negative people.
Yeah, well, they don't know either.
They don't know.
And it's very important after you interact with someone to step back and do some self-assessment. Like, how do I feel? How did I feel before I interacted with this person? How do I feel now?
Exactly.
And you got to shamelessly cut that out.
Exactly.
Because it's holding you back. And like, it could be blood. It could be friends. It could, you know.
I mean, everything. And I've associated myself with the right people. Like, I think me being in Vegas that was one of the best things for me. Being away from my comfort zone and you not knowing one person there. Now you have to figure something out. And I encourage more people, just leave, get away for a little bit, figure it out. Like, you will figure it out once you eliminate, you know, the negativity, the stuff that's bringing you down.
Tell me about that. Do you make an effort to think positively and speak positively? And like, is that part of your game?
Oh yeah, no, most definitely. I think just in general, how I am right now, you know, and I'm finally growing up into my body. I feel stronger. I feel good, and I feel like everything's going more up. But I just think you have to speak it into existence. You have to see yourself doing it. You have to put yourself like, okay, I could do this, but how am I going to do it? But saying it and seeing that end goal is where it starts, I think. If you don't believe it and you don't say it, how can it happen?
So tell me about like this process for you specifically. So I know with boxing, you did like 6-month increments. Do you think of a goal, write it down, and think of a plan and then speak it? Or do you just speak it? Like, tell me how you establish and then achieve goals.
Well, my goal recently, what I've said after my last fight in December, I was like, okay, if I do 10 fights, I could be done by the route I'm going, obviously. So I was like, okay, if I do 10 fights and then you're making this money, but but each one you're going to get better. But 10 fights and you multiply it by 10 times, I mean, that's a pretty good income if you're doing it the right way.
For sure.
Even if you make, let's just say you make $20,000 a fight. Like, some people don't make that until they're later in their career. But for me, I made that one fight before, and that's really good for one fight.
Yeah.
Because some people are getting paid $1,000 and they're fighting way crazier people that are hurting you. And I'm sure fighting the right people too. But let's just say 20,000. But if you do that 10 times, that's 200,000. And 10 fights, you could do that in 3 years. So if you do 200,000 in 3 years, that's still pretty good income for being free.
Oh yeah.
And that's minus what you do on the outside. I was like, okay, so I told myself, I was like, if I just make $20,000 a fight for 10 times, that's $200,000.
And you got to live the life of your dreams.
A year to 2 years, yeah, because it's if you fight 3-4 times a year, that's 8 fights. I'm like, oh wow, that's in 2 years you made that. Like, that's a pretty by yourself, a single person. Like, that's good. And then but it's only gonna get better and bigger. So I'm like, oh okay, like let's just keep going, and the more people get behind you and believe in you, but you have to work hard, and that's why I'm in the gym, because I can't let the people that are believing in me down. I can't let anyone down. Like, I'm enjoying my process. Everyone's different. Everyone's calling is different. So that's why I'm just focused on myself so much.
You think we all get a calling?
Oh yeah, I think so.
How do you think that works? Do people identify natural talents? Like,
I mean, a lot you could be born with a natural talent too. You know, we see all these athletes that are just born with genetics that are crazy, you know?
Yeah, sure.
But that couldn't happen either if they didn't work hard. Like it's two and two together. I think hard work, and I think it's just
well, that's where the greats come from, is natural talent with extremely hard work, and then you get a Jerry Rice.
Yeah, which is why you see a lot of athletes fail, because they're just going on natural talent, and natural talent can get you far. You could make a good living off natural talent, but to be like that other side. Because I feel like I'm not the best athlete. I'm not the best in shape. I'm not the best agile. I have to work for it. So by me working for it, I can pass a lot of these people up. And I feel like I've passed. Well, I mean, I'm the most famous boxer in Sacramento. I am. I mean, most Googled. I mean, most popular. I mean, I have like fans that are like 56 years old, you know? It's cool, you know? And that's just because of my hard work. You know, I'm in the gym.
And I think your persona too, man. I think people are picking up what you're putting down, and you know, I think you're doing the right stuff. From a larger scale, why do you think all this is happening? What do you think your purpose is? I
mean, I think my purpose is to serve others, and serve others by, you know, when you give back, you know, when like me being in the public, it's hard.
24 years old, man.
But you know, but the thing is, it's like when you serve others, there's kids that look up to me, there's adults that look up to me, there's girls, guys, younger. You know, I want them to be different. Like, don't follow the crowd.
So for someone that's like 18 to 22 or whatever, and they feel like they got a calling, like, dude, I want to be an actor. Like or like, I think I want to be a musician, and they don't know what to do, or maybe it's a little embarrassing or intimidating. What advice do you have for them?
I mean, from 18 to 24, and like their calling is to be an actor. Well, first, like you have to look at where you're surrounding by, like your surroundings. You look at that first. So like if you want to be an actor, I don't think Sacramento will be the best for you.
Okay.
You go to movies, you think of LA, right? So you got to be where it's relevant. And that's where I believe, you know, you have to get out of that comfort zone. Like, build up a little, you know, keep building into your stable here in Sacramento. Then you got to make the jump. I don't think you could be a famous actor just being here in Sacramento trying to make movies here. No one makes movies here anymore. Like,
so the first thing is identify what your surroundings need to be.
Yeah,
and then
you need to be.
Go
and
to
then,
that.
And then execute. And if it doesn't work, okay, try again. Come back home and reevaluate, and then try it again.
Okay.
I mean, I've done that. I mean, but just check your surroundings. But I think the number one thing is, like, for any calling is, like, your health. I think that's health is wealth.
Well, what kind of health? Mental,
just in
spiritual,
general,
physical,
like
all of it?
All of it, but physical mainly, you know. Like, if you take care of your body, like, then the rest will take care of itself, I believe.
Mental health as well, you think?
Yeah, mental, yeah, most definitely. Mental and physical.
It'll take care of, like, yeah, they're kind of intertwined, huh?
Exactly. And I remember that too, because I was bigger, and then, you know, but once you start focusing on yourself and getting stronger mentally, physically, then things start opening up. And it's just like crazy. The door's open. You just walk through it now.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. What about spiritually? How important do you think that is to keep that tight? And I think what kind of things do you do to keep yourself spiritually clean and spiritually fit?
I think it's very important, you know, being spiritually, you know, and talking to God and believing, you know, and believing in yourself and believing in God. I believe there is God, you know. These things wouldn't just happen. You know, the universe, the trees, like that just doesn't just show up. And we don't just show up, you know, that's God. And I think it's very important, you know. Some people aren't religious, so I understand that too. You could be successful too, you know. There's people that don't believe in anything, which is fine. But I think once you find like God, and like it's more at peace.
Dude, there is no mistake why this is happening for you, man. You got the work ethic, you got the attitude, the mindset.
I'm trying.
Good dude.
Thank you.
Looks like you're enjoying it too. That's important, right?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it, because I remember 3 years ago, almost in October, it'd be 3 years. You know, this stuff wasn't happening. You know, none of this stuff was happening. So for me to do this in less than 3 years and people paying attention, it's a blessing. Like, even at the gym, I was like, dude, like I told one of the trainers, like, dude, I don't think I'm somebody, you know. I know I'm somebody deep down, but I don't need to say that. And some people, like, when they try to be somebody, I'm gonna put my shoulders out.
What you're trying to say is you don't think you're better than anyone else.
No, I don't think
that's incredible.
We're all the same person.
We are all connected. We're all the same. We're all on the same level.
Yeah, fame, notoriety,
all created.
money, it doesn't matter. Because there's people with all that aren't happy.
Man,
that's the truth.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a comment. Show these guests some support. What part impacted you the most, so we can make them feel really good. These are real stories and raw emotions. Thank you.